So I want to talk to you about cancel culture and how it affects media companies. Notably, that one of the sponsors for the Post Millennial, where you are the editor-in-chief,
yes, that's right,
Surfshark, which is a VPN, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. They got some Antifa guy tweeted at them that Andy No was all these stupid things they lie about. And Surfshark immediately was like, oh no, shocked emoji. We're so sorry. We'll immediately terminate our relationship with them.
That's right.
So I called them out immediately. I'm like, dude.
And it was all lies against Andy. None of it was true.
But here's the point I made. This is really, really important. Surfshark responded to me. They said, hi, Timcast. We're not supporting or dismissing anyone. Our core goal is protecting people's digital privacy and security, and we just don't want to be involved in someone else's conflicts or ideological disagreements, which is a lie. Surfshark, you're liars. You're bad people. Mm-hmm. Because when Antifa tweets at you and then you say, you got it, buddy, we'll sever ties with a business over your ideology, you're doing exactly that. And now that you're getting backlash for it, you have the nerve to come out and be like, we just don't want to be involved. No. Surfshark violated the privacy of the Post Millennial and Andy No by publicly tweeting they would terminate a business arrangement over accusations made online. If they're willing to sacrifice or violate the privacy, look, if they wanted to sever, they could have privately called up and said, guys, we're not fans of this conflict, so we're not going to publicly call you out on anything, but we don't want to work with you anymore. That would be private. Instead, they publicly said, yeah, look at those guys. They're bad guys. We're not going to work with them. So that's me calling them out, but I'm curious because I still saw ads on the Post Millennial, and I was wondering if you had some more insight into this spineless company selling out their values out of fear from Antifa.
Yeah, it was actually pretty interesting and shocking. So it was basically, one tweet at this company saying that Andy is a violent person, which I don't know if you guys have ever met Andy, but he's like the furthest from a violent person that I've almost ever met. And then they said that they weren't doing they terminated our relationship with them.
But they said that, or they actually did?
They're not working with us anymore.
Because I still saw, like a week later, there were still ads for it.
Yeah, it was lag.
Oh. So this company actually terminated a business arrangement because some random Antifa guy, and he deleted his tweets, by the way.
Yeah.
He tweeted lies.
Yeah.
Then they went, no problem.
He took it down. But then also, yeah, the ads came down a couple days late. We were busy, apparently, I'm hearing. So whatever.
But they wanted them removed.
But yeah, so we took the ads down. And, they basically gave legitimacy to these violent extremists who wanted to silence the media and silence the press.
And
they actually, they replied to customers too. And we have screenshots of this as well, because Andy reached out on Twitter and was like, hey, if you hear from them, and we have screenshots. They told customers that Andy was, violent, and we weren't going to be working with. They weren't going to be working with us anymore because of Andy.
There are a lot of people on the right who said they've worked with Surfshark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that I think this is a horrible thing to do. I think it's a horrible company.
Well, I mean, that shows that they don't actually care.
Right.
They're only responding to PR issues.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's really just this one person said this thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's all nonsense. I mean, so where do you guys see the sort of, I'm only doing business with a certain type of political ideology going? Like, do you think that it's going to move into like a polarized corporate system? It's
going to be, I mentioned this before, like parallel economies, but I think people need to boycott and tell all their friends and family to boycott. And the way I see it is, if a company is willing to defame someone privately and publicly, then whatever it costs them in PR to run those ads, it should cost them 100 times from the power of the people to say, you're bad and we reject this, and then going out and telling everybody. Because I'll tell you this, people don't, there's this old saying, I can't remember exactly, but it's like this advice you'll get in media, like a negative experience is 10 times worse, or it's like 1,000 times worse than a positive one. A positive experience is expected. A negative experience is infuriating. Mm-hmm. So if someone goes into your restaurant and they order a cheesecake and it's a delicious cheesecake, they'll be like, wow, that's so good. Well, of course it should be. They probably won't give you a good review. They won't share your restaurant. They won't tell their friends about it. But if you have a cheesecake and it like is gross,
Has
they'll
bugs in
tell
it.
everyone
Yeah,
they
whatsoever.
know. So if these companies want to play this game where they're willing to step up, stand up, and shove themselves into an ideological conflict, and I'll mention this too. Andy is the editor at large at the
He's
Post.
the editor at large, yeah.
So to sever their business arrangement over one employee
Right.
and to violate the privacy,
One
that's the
editor.
big thing.
We have a lot of editors too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and we're keeping our legal options open because this was clearly defamation.
Yeah. Defamation and libel.
Mm-hmm.
And what for every instance of it, is it another instance of libel for every person
Yes.
that they contacted?
Yeah, like every time they say it.
Every
That's-
person they told lies about Andy.
And by
causing
saying
damages.
that they're not getting involved, they are very clearly getting involved on the side of this guy who, just has it in for Andy because Andy exposes Antifa all over the place and is very honest about it and works hard at that.
We got to get the Post Millennial monetized with Minds
Okay.
tokens.
Bill's like,
I'm not joking.
I'll make a business move.
Yeah, let's do
we'll
it.
Follow up. Yeah.
You told me the other day, you were like, hey,
Yeah. We
do
got
your
to figure
thing.
that out. Yeah.
So I changed my password because, of course, I couldn't find anything. And I found that somebody had given me tokens.
all right.
Ooh, that's money.
So that was
Money in
fun.
the bank.
Yeah, I'll have to
we
figure out
need, there was a
what that
period where I said, I was like, a few years ago, I'm like, oh, Hulu did something woke. I'm not going to boycott because they said something dumb. I'll tell them it's dumb. I'm well past that point. I'm like, if a company comes out and does something like this, which is substantially worse than just posting stupid, woke nonsense. If they actively defame people and then enter the conflict, I say go nuclear. Share it with your friends. Share my tweets with everybody. Tell everyone you know, anybody who has the service, no, we're not going to work with you.
But
We're
do
not going to buy
the
from
same
you.
thing for Amazon.
When Amazon bans people? Yes, all the time.
No, I
Amazon
know,
is
but
horrible.
are you boycotting Amazon?
Uh,
That's a tough one.
half.
Half.
But you're right. It's a good point.
I actually
Half.
there were some things that I was ordering on Amazon, and I actually started ordering them from the company specifically. I'm not going to say it because what if they say they hate me and then I can't order their stuff anymore. But it's interesting what you were saying about the parallel economies because we switched mostly from using YouTube for our podcasts and stuff at Post Millennial, and now we're using Rumble for everything. And it's, just fine. And we like them quite a bit. It's a lot, this is what we were talking about culture and like in terms of creating more culture. What is going to happen? Are there going to be fully parallel economies with different services based on ideological perspectives?
Yes.
And if so, where's the conservative Amazon? Part of it too is that the non-left-wing side of things doesn't always do as great a job.
What the issue
They
is
don't
I
have
guess
all the graphic designers. They don't have all the creatives. So what's going to happen with that?
it is changing. It's
It is
definitely changing. And I think yes, where's the conservative to launch an Amazon marketplace?
I would buy from that place.
Didn't Mike Lindell try doing something?
I feel like you're going too far. It's like, where's the apolitical place launching the alternative? Because it's like when you
once
hear
you're
where's the
apolitical-
conservative alternative, it's not always. It's like, you don't just go to the other side. It has to be the one that is
Well, hold on.
there for everybody.
What I'm saying is, where the conservative side is the side that allows you to sell Karl Marx and Hitler. The left side is the side that allows you to only sell Karl Marx.
And that used to be the left
You could
side.
you could
and now
say
it's
you could
not.
say conservative, or maybe it's an apolitical, free speech supporting.
That's right wing, bro. You can,
But
you
you're
can-
falling into the trap.
No,
Free speech and free religion are on the right wing side at this point.
that stuff's beyond political parties.
It used to be.
It still
not.
is.
It
You
still
can't-
is.
you
Used
can't
to
have it
be.
if you're going to divide
You
yourself.
guys
It can't happen.
are naive
Okay.
and unwilling to accept
if
the
you're
reality
going
of
to
what's
allow
happening.
yourself to play
Joe
their game that
Rogan
you
is
already
called
lost.
alt-right. Joe Rogan is called alt-right. Bill Maher is called alt-right.
it's not-
Joe Rogan is called
Yeah,
far-right.
a-
And the dude's literally in favor of UBI.
It doesn't mean it's real. Dumb people are using those terms.
Left and right don't mean anything and never really did, other than are you in favor of the revolution or opposed to it? So yes, if you oppose the left's woke revolution, you are the right.
Republican
why would
and
you
Democrat
accept
don't
that?
mean anything. It's just a thing you tick. It's no different.
Republican and Democrat refer to the parties.
You
Yeah,
don't
and
accept
then
that you're
I-
right wing. You do not accept that you're right wing.
I have repeatedly said, in terms of the culture war, I would be considered on the right.
You would be
And-
considered, but that doesn't mean that that's what you are.
Well, let me finish. Michael Malice has described this as the new right personalities. And his position is, ask someone this question. I'll ask you. Do you believe that some people are better than others?
Of course not.
You don't think so? That's
Well,
that's the left position. The new right position is
Okay,
Of course they
no,
are.
I sort of misinterpreted
Well,
the
it
question.
depends on what you mean by better.
Better.
Like, what does better mean?
That's your interpretation.
Is one human life more valuable than
I didn't say
another? Exactly. So that's how I interpreted
What Michael-
it. Are some people
what Michael
more
said-
ethical than others? Yes.
What Michael said is the left will opine and justify, and the right will simply say yes. So here's the issue.
But the
in
left
terms
also
of the
will-
political compass, my political ideology leans left in terms of cooperative. I know right libertarians don't like the idea, but cooperative meaning non-transactional, more like I'll help you if you help me. It doesn't really scale up all that well, so mostly I defer to positions of liberty. However, in the culture war, I believe in free speech. I believe in religious freedoms. I believe in bodily autonomy. Those things do not exist in any facet on the left. Okay, so maybe that's too absolute. Maybe there's some people on the left who are calling this out, but look at AOC going to the Met Gala with her Tax the Rich dress, where a guy carries it for her while wearing a mask. She is not. That's the hero of the progressive left. Then you look at the libertarian socialist YouTubers and streamers who are celebrating rule by decree. When you come out and you're speaking colloquially in modern culture, the free speech, freedom of association, the right to read any book you want is considered right wing.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but that again, it's sort of adopting their paradigm to accept that.
Right.
What would you
So-
suggest we do instead?
Just
Erase those words from your
yeah,
lexicon
right and left
first.
aren't.
And say
you know,
what?
Sorry to
I'm
interrupt you,
happy to
Bill.
say
I mean-
liberty. Liberty is fine, and if people are going to associate that with the right, that's their decision. But liberty's not going to get taken away from the language.
Part of the problem, I think, is that we need to be able to communicate with one another. And so we need to share words, and those words need to have common definitions.
Do you not think that liberty is a more effective word than conservative? Or I mean, I don't want to say libertarian because that
Libertarian
has,
is its
I
own
know,
political party.
But liberty, I think, I don't think is co-opted.
So you would say you are.
I'm not
pro-liberty.
making the new term. I don't know. But
I mean, I've heard the concept of the new
liberty-minded,
right
I
around
think,
quite a bit.
is cool. There's different words that can achieve it without having that association.
I think what draws me
Anti-left.
to the concept of
Yeah.
but we can't define ourselves as a negative.
Right.
Right.
You
Why
know?
do you need to define yourself?
Pro freedom. I mean, come on.
Where-
You're right that will be associated with the right, but that is actually,
Dude, the Gadsden flag has one simple meaning: liberty. Leave me alone. Yet, the Antifa people have a flag of the snake, of the communist fist killing the snake, squeezing it out. If you go, so I have friends who are the left. They will tell you outright they are in favor of the state taking away your freedoms. So we can say freedom. They'll still say in the media, in every newspaper, right wing.
yeah, that's fine. Let them do that.
The interesting thing, I suppose, is that, like on my Wikipedia, for instance, says I'm both left and right. And they're like, I don't know. It's like his anti-corporate politics are fairly left-wing. And it's like, bro, left and right don't mean anything other than tribal signifiers at this point. Like, I think left and right can probably be broken down very, very simply. Do you question the narrative or do you blindly follow it? If you blindly follow it, that's what we consider left. If you challenge it, that's what's considered right-wing. So even if your positions are like pro-choice, tax the rich, universal healthcare, UBI, and you challenge official narrative, they'll call you right-wing.
I just think there's a lot of people on the left that don't want that to be the case. The freedom, the freedom sect of the left, they don't want that. So
what's the freedom sect of the left?
there is, it's there. The anarcho-communists, the libertarian socialists. I know, they're there.
When the libertarian socialists are following prominent individuals who celebrate rule by decree, and the anarcho-communists are firebombing small businesses, they are just lying about what they represent.
I don't know. I don't want to give up hope that there is, a group of people, on that end of the spectrum that do care about values that matter.
When Gamergate happened, a lot of these people started posting their political compass tests, and they were all left libertarian. Now they're all like center right.
That happened to me. I've been taking those little, Cosmo testers of political affiliation, and it used to be like all over here, and now it's over here, but it's the same stuff. Like I'm voicing the same opinions.
They're changing the algorithms to make you think that you're in some kind of club or labeled some certain way to divide you. Like, don't play the game. Don't say left and right. Don't put people in camps and say they're conservative and this, because then they're going to use that to destroy the cults. Yeah, they'll destroy each little cult. The conservative cult, the liberal cult, the left cult, the right. They will target that sect of things that we've created inadvertently if we let ourselves lazily do it. So don't do it.
People want to be affiliated with each other. People want to be part of groups.
It's understandable. That's in our genetics to survive. But
yeah, I mean, we're
gone too far.
We're a hive species, right?
There's one institutional cult, and that's it.
We're not a hive species.
You
But
don't think so?
no, we're like
New York City looks kind of like a hive sometimes.
Yeah, but I don't think humans are necessarily hive animals. We're more
herd
animals.
Yeah.
And to identify, Tim, I'm so sorry. I didn't even understand what you just said because I was in the middle of that conversation with Libby. What did you just say?
You started pointing out like the conservative cult and this cult, and there's only one cult.
Oh, I disagree with.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like cults, they exist, but independent voters and Republicans are challenging the narrative. Republican voters express disdain for the Republican Party. Democrat voters overwhelmingly believe whatever they're told by Micah Brzezinski.
From the other perspective,
or Rachel Maddow.
Fox News is the narrative that people are blindly. No, from the other perspective.
No, you're not.
It is a narrative.
That's a cult. When Tucker Carlson came out and said Sidney Powell was wrong, they lost like 3 million viewers.
Do you want to know something? I was on his show that night, and I lost so many Twitter followers that night because I was on the show where he slammed Sidney Powell. That was very
But they
funny.
still retained millions of viewers and still is the biggest show because people on the right are not. They're individualists. They're not unified for the most part, though there are different groups within the right that make it up. I'll put it this way. I forgot the analogy I was going to use. Anyway, the point is, the left as we know it, the ones that are pro-vaccine mandate, the ones that believe Trump colluded with Russia, the ones that never let that go, they refuse to believe the facts when stories come out and say, like, Biden did this. Mark Milley called China outside the chain of command. All of this story is developing, being confirmed. Now we have the defense secretary saying, I never authorized that. Now we have the defense secretary saying if Trump gave a military order, it should not be going to Mark Milley. We know for a fact he did this. And what is the mainstream narrative? He was a hero who stopped a madman. That is the cult. That they can tell you to your face, they've shuttered the 3 branches of government. They have bypassed the standard process of legislation. And the priests of this, the so-called libertarian socialists, are celebrating the usurping of civilian authority. The usurping of the branches of our government. They're in a cult. Now, if Republican voters, if Trump voters, Republican voters and independents argue with each other all day and night, but agree on certain principles of freedom, clearly not a cult. Because I can have an argument with somebody about, like Jack the other day, about family and responsibility, and we're not unified, but we'll hang out, we'll have more shows, and we'll debate these ideas. Look at what the left does on their shows. You can't challenge them. Brian Stelter won't have on Glenn Greenwald to question him in any capacity, but Tucker Carlson brings on Antifa all the time. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.